Hi everyone, my name is Della Phillips. I'm also known as the Bicycle Lady. How you doing today? I'm doing great. Now, I have what I worked with at the last drawing video, which was finding shapes within an object that we're going to draw, and they were geometric shapes. To recap, there's different shapes when you do constructive drawing, which this is because you find this shape in the item. Shapes come in geometric, which what we dealt with when we did this, and organic. We'll get into that another time. I thought what we do is finish smoothing this out and getting it looking more like this. Maybe not with the shading, but just with the line and getting some of this evened up, I see. So we'll work on that, and let's get to it. I think I'll leave this out on second thought. Let me get my pencil. Oh, and this here, if we have time, we may do another finding shapes in a fruit, which would be much simpler than this many shapes. But we'll see how the time goes. Hopefully we'll have time for that. Okay, got my erasers. And there may be some things that need to be corrected as far as evenness and so forth, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Alright. Yeah, I can tell a little bit there. Hopefully I'm not off too much, because normally I work on a slightly slanted surface, but for filming purposes I've got it flat. It makes it easier since I have my phone camera overhead. That's what I film with. Hopefully I'll be upgrading in the near future. We'll see. Also, if you like my videos or enjoy them, please consider subscribing. It would really help me out with YouTube, and there's no cost. If you want to know when my videos come out, just click on the notification button. And also, if you find this enjoyable, informative, please give it a thumbs up by clicking on that thumbs up icon as well. Alright, let's see. I think that's a little bit better. Possibly a little bit there. And then this here should be more of a rounded shape, so it's not so squared off here. Let's see. Yeah. Let's get that taken care of here as well. More of a rounded off shape. And then this would be a more rounded shape as well. And this would come down like this. And then put in the curves. And notice that even though I've got this all pretty much blocked out and it was squared off and so forth, we could leave it that way, but it's also nice to put in the contours and the curves, but at least you've got it blocked out, laid out, so you know approximately where it is to be positioned, and then you concentrate on getting more of the sides matching up. Now, I'm not sure. I believe we should put in something here. I don't know. I think I may just simplify that a bit. But I do want to put one right here at this edge. Oops. Got off my mark there, but that's okay. still going for a final. And then this here needs to be basically like this. And then you can take out this. And put in this. And then this comes down like that. Not, there's a chamfer of a slight curve there with a small indication there. And then where that's been a square, it's come up and rounded off here. And this rounded off here. As well as there's one here and this here. So I think we can take that plumb line out now. Let's get that cleaned up a little bit. Is that pretty even? It looks off just a tad bit. That looks better to me. It still may be off a little bit. I think it is actually. I guess I should get my brush out, shouldn't I? Okay, I can just do that. And this is off a bit. So, before we get there, let's get this here taken care of. Okay. If my head pops into the bottom part of it, I apologize in advance, but I won't be able to get my eyes examined and new glasses until after the first of the year. I'm going to have to wait until then. So, please bear with me. May just leave it. I think I will, probably. But let's see. That's better. Seem a little bit off there. But not that much. Okay. Alright then. That looks better. Now. Okay, I'm back. I just took a minute. I didn't want you to have to tolerate hearing me sharpen my pencil, so I just paused it so I could get my pencil sharpened. Still off a bit. I want to work with that a little bit, probably, if I were doing a finished drawing of it a bit more. But we're starting to get the rounded shapes. They're staying pretty much in proportion with everything that we've laid out, which is good. And let's start on this part now. And I can take out the plumb line there. And because of how dark I made it, I think we'll still have a faint ghost of it, but that's fine. This is not going to be a finished drawing. And I'm looking over here, I'm seeing this. But it would be more like coming off of this here. So let's see. I have this part here, which is a chamfer, and then a very slight curve, almost no curve, right there. So that is more or less close to eye level. And then we got another small one here. Now, if you're doing any shading and toning, you can help correct some of these things when you do the shading and toning. But we'll get to that. We're going to be studying, or at least I plan on going into shading, tone, and values earlier than I announced when I started this phase 2 of constructive drawing. So that I would say would be a good thing. Take another quick break up, and I had to interrupt. Let's see here. Now, if you're not getting these rounded shapes and you're very particular, you can always use a French curve, but I think I can end up sometimes making it a little bit too mechanical. I would prefer using the skills we learned about doing contour line, the edge, the first phase of seeing the edges and drawing the edges. Okay, that's actually looking much better. I think this needs to be a bit contoured without so much here. There we go. And there we are. That's good. Now let's look up here. Now we got these all blocked off up here, and that's good. And that would be here. Oh, I changed it. I didn't add this part here. I just took it directly up to the base of the holder, which is fine. Let's just having that all squared off. Let's just find the and then, so I'm not, you don't have to be a slave to your reference photo, or even if you have an item in front of me. You can edit it out. And keep in mind when you're drawing, so some of the things that makes an drawing interesting, please keep in mind that you don't have to be a slave to your reference, and that actually as you go more and more into drawing is not to always be super realistic. What really can make a drawing interesting is what you leave out sometimes. What is the mystery? And that's the reason why if things look too mechanical, that can be not a good thing as well, because there's no mystery in that. And if you want that super hyper realistic, there are means of photographic reproduction and so forth that you can utilize to do that, and instead of the art. So, keep everything in its place. That's pretty darn close. That was off more. It's not. Far better than I thought. Let me take out this center line. Alright. That does look a little off. Let me use the trick. turn it upside down. Helps you to see it. You can also look at it in a mirror, or you can take a photo of it and look at it. Let's do it. That looks better. Not exact, which is good, but still, it looks better to me. So, now, I want to do this rounded part here, which is essentially a little rounded area here, and then this gets a slight curve in. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Now, this here, let's check it. Let's check it. Okay, it's pretty close. This is a slight modification over here. Alright, I'm going to make it rounded. It was more of a slant, like this. And I kind of like that. I'm going to take it that instead of round it out here. And then do a little bit of a rounding, or part of an ellipse there. And then this one here, that's a little flat there. So I'm going to correct that and see if the ellipse needs to be corrected once I do that. So, as I said, when I do ellipses, many times, especially with ones this size and maybe even larger, I like to do one side and then come back and do the other. Some people say you should really just do it all at once and just keep going, and then you pick the best line. I still pick the best line, but I like doing this because I feel like I have more control. I can see where my pencil point is going. I could be wrong there. Let's see. I think it's a little bit too high. Let's change that. And seeing me go through these iterations of drawings, you can hopefully appreciate the fact that I like working and doing all these modifications of the drawing and work out what looks good and everything. And then, especially with watercolor or even colored pencil, if you did this much erasing, you went back and you tried to do a watercolor painting on top of it, or a color pencil, this area where I've erased a lot, it will take up the paint or the color pencil differently, and it would alter, and it'd be almost impossible to get an even tone, as well as if you're going for a particular type of look, it may be virtually impossible because you've roughed up and erased. So if I was more of a person that could just lay down, not have to rework and get things exactly, and maybe look at it and rework it even more, then that would be different. Or if you're doing more free and easy, for whatever reason I'm having trouble with this one, then of course then that would be different as well. More of a freestyle, loose style. Some refer to it as being loosey-goosey, I don't know. Maybe that's an old term that's used. Actually, I kind of like this. This has gotten much better. This needs to be corrected here. And I might come in and put in another line and maybe about here. And this would be a little bit less plain down here. Won't be as much as that, but... And then when you shade it, you could put a little bit of... that's a little bit low here. Let's that. Let's take that up just a tad bit. There we go. And as they say, when you do flowers, you have a little more leeway, a lot more leeway. But with something like this, that you have some hard edges and machine-made and so forth, man-made. Did I get this off? A little bit. And I correct it. Let's see. That looks a little bit better. It's just a minor change. So, you saw how I went through and we marked it out, the geometric shapes, essentially, here. You see the lines and everything. And then put down the plumb line and then brought over those geometric shapes as well over here to create our block out and create the candlestick with stacked geometric shapes. And now we've gone through and done the preliminary of cleaning up the lines, and that could be refined even further as you do the shading, value tone, and start